Few relationships in modern history have been as volatile, or as transformational, as the one between Egypt and Israel. A history marked by ancient ties, deadly wars, bold diplomacy, and an unlikely peace that has endured against the odds. This is not just a story of conflict and treaties. It's a journey through decades of power, politics, and the human cost of war, and what happens when former enemies choose to speak instead of fight. Ancient and religious ties. The connection between Egypt and the land that would become Israel stretches back thousands of years. In the biblical narrative, Egypt was a land of both refuge and oppression. It was where the Israelites sought food in times of famine, and where they were later enslaved, leading to the story of the Exodus. Whether viewed through scripture or archaeology, Egypt has long been part of Israel's earliest stories. Yet in modern times, these ancient memories gave way to modern geopolitics, military conflict, and diplomacy. 1948. War over a new nation. When the State of Israel declared its independence in 1948, Egypt was one of the first Arab countries to go to war against it. The Arab-Israeli war that followed was devastating. For Israel, it was a fight for survival. For Egypt and other Arab states, it was seen as a defense of Arab identity and Palestinian rights. The result was the first of several wars. Israel survived, but the region was now locked into a cycle of hostility. 1956. The Suez Crisis. In 1956, Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal, a key waterway that had been controlled by British and French interests. In response, Israel, along with Britain and France, launched a military invasion of Egypt. Though militarily successful, international pressure, especially from the United States and the Soviet Union, forced the invaders to withdraw. Egypt, under President Gamal Abdel Nasser, emerged as a hero in the Arab world, while Israel gained short-term access to vital shipping routes. The deeper conflict, however, remained unresolved. 1967. The Six-Day War. Tensions exploded again in 1967. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, a war that would last just 6 days but change the map of the Middle East. Israel captured the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, along with the West Bank from Jordan and the Golan Heights from Syria. The loss was a major blow to Arab morale, and a humiliation for Egypt's leadership. The war also laid the groundwork for future clashes and future diplomacy. 1973. The Yom Kippur War. On Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israeli positions in 1973. At first, the Egyptian army made significant gains, crossing the Suez Canal and regaining lost territory. The early success gave Egypt a renewed sense of strength and pride, even as Israel eventually pushed back. More importantly, this war changed the calculus. For the first time, Egypt realized it could not destroy Israel militarily, and Israel realized its borders were not invincible. This opened the door to diplomacy. 1977 to 1979. The path to peace. In 1977, Egyptian President Anwar Sadat stunned the world by visiting Jerusalem. He spoke before the Israeli Knesset, calling not for war but for peace. It was a bold and controversial move. Sadat was the first Arab leader to officially recognize Israel's right to exist. The reaction in the Arab world was swift and angry. Many saw it as a betrayal. But the move led to the Camp David Accords in 1978, brokered by U.S. President Jimmy Carter. A year later, Egypt and Israel signed a formal peace treaty, the first between Israel and an Arab state. In return, Israel agreed to withdraw from the Sinai Peninsula. For Egypt, it meant regaining lost land. For Israel, it meant recognition and a strategic breakthrough. A cold but enduring peace. The peace came at a price. In 1981, President Sadat was assassinated by Egyptian extremists opposed to his deal with Israel. But his successor, Hosni Mubarak, upheld the treaty, and the peace endured. To this day, Egypt and Israel maintain full diplomatic relations. Embassies are open. Security cooperation is ongoing, particularly in the Sinai, where terrorism remains a concern for both nations. Trade, while limited, exists. And both sides benefit from a quiet border. Yet the peace is often called a cold peace. While the governments cooperate, cultural and social ties remain distant. Many Egyptians still view the treaty with suspicion. Palestinian issues continue to strain the relationship. But despite multiple regional wars, revolutions, and shifting alliances, the peace agreement has held. The bigger picture, the story of Egypt and Israel, is about more than treaties. It's a story of leadership, of leaders willing to take personal and political risks to avoid future bloodshed. It's a story of how history can shift, not with violence, but with a single handshake. In a region where conflict often dominates the headlines, the Egypt-Israel peace stands as a rare example of enemies choosing a different path. A fragile, imperfect peace, but peace nonetheless. The relationship between Egypt and Israel remains complex, shaped by history, politics, and the weight of public opinion. But more than 4 decades after signing peace, they remain connected by more than just borders. They're connected by the choice to move forward. What other stories from Middle Eastern or world history would you like us to explore? Drop your ideas in the comments, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more history told simply, powerfully, and without bias.